Yo! Hope we are all doing good today on this Monday. If you're not doing good, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Listen to this Celtic ditty. It'll make you feel happy. And if it doesn't, well, that's just kinda shitty. But hey, at least you're not a song tiger. Silver linings.
You got anyone you want to call out in the heavyweight division?
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker? I'm coming to kill you! In Los Angeles, at your house!
Or in the ring?
No, in real life. I'm going to stalk him and become obsessed with him. And wear his makeup, and his dresses, and use his skin as a coat.
And now, the nations of the world who hate Johnny, presented by Eva. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam. Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now one piece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and Greece. Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman. Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq and Iran. There's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait and Bahrain. The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium and Portugal, France, England, Denmark and Spain. India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo, and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana. Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Niger, Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, and Nina, Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Myanmar, and Cayman, Montana, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Crete, Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine. Oh, I didn't realize we had background music going. Oops. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, chat, to the stream. Let us do some greetings. So, greetings, as people have now managed to trickle on in. Greetings to McSkittles, Ike13D, Spiderbro, and Beazelquell, Meteoric, Death the Goats, Hero 101, Temp. Oh, thank you, Piotr, for the gifted Elfpire Eva membership. God, I can't say my own name, it's fine. Sparky's Tech Corner, welcome to the chat. Nano, welcome to membership. Hope everybody liked that little rendition of People Are Strange by 3 Doors Down. It will not be available after the stream goes down. Desert Nomad, welcome. But yeah, we do a little bit of silliness here. Okay. So...
Meteoric91 gives Eva some head pats and says being head pat.
Thank you so much for the head pats, Meteoric91. Let's do some wiggles. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Billy Donuts, welcome to the chat. That's right. By the way, little bit of cool news. I'm sure a lot of people here already know. You know, because we all keep up with the VTubing stuff. Let me see if I can... Yeah, actually, you know what? I'll add that to my reaction. What the hell was her name? There it is. Got it. Hey, 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 hey. Look, you're jumping the gun a little bit. But... Oh, thank you, Avenge900, for coming, House Curl, Swin Bernie, and welcome to the chat. Okay, so, here, let's see here. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. Okay, and then we do this. And then we do this. That's right. She's so fucking back, chat. Chat. Chat, she's fucking back, guys. Oh, thank you, Death the Goat, for the kroner. That's a kroner. It's my birthday today, so I would like to give Eva a gift. Wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. If it's your birthday, I should give you a gift, right? I think so. I think that's how that's supposed to happen. Saba. It's Saba, motherfucker. Shot Girl is so fucking back under a new account. Okay, let's do this. Can I scroll down? No? Okay, that's fine. Saba. Wow, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I found out about this morning. There was a little over 20,000 subscribers. There's already 72.8 thousand. So yeah, those soft Sabas are adorable. It's definitely, I'm pretty sure it's who we know it is. I said you freaking got this fish. Definitely. And, I think this is actually really smart. I think, rebranding or becoming Saba is much better. Yo-ho! Coming soon. Joined May 4th, 2025. So they created this pretty soon after. But, Samako Saba, that's their name. Don't wear it out. I'm very happy for them, but I also understand why they didn't go back to their Senzawa account. They were in a much different place. Oh. They were in a much different place, then than they are now. And I think they are in a better place now. So, not really much point in bringing up, like, the old, you know? Anyway, that wasn't unintended. reacts, and I didn't have it actually in my list of light stuff that we're reacting to. But we'll go ahead and move on to a few short things, funnies and stuff like that. But the first is something that makes me very, very, very excited. It is by a group known as Fallout 4 Project Arroyo, and it is a Fallout 2 remake, and this is a locations trailer. Basically they're trying to create Fallout 2 and Fallout 4. Which, I mean, I'm sorry, but that sounds amazing. To have a game like that brought into the 3D world, oh man, I'm so fucking like, listen, we had to check this out, guys. Look at this. Don't you worry about what this look is. Okay, let's get to the most alarming super chat. Not alarming, but like made me funny. Made me. Okay, let's see here. First of all, it's my birthday today. Okay, I already recovered to that one. Festivo for the fire, thank you. 'Tis elf, dare so run free of thy chains, should take these lands of thy foul elven trickery. How dare, dwarf for life, plap the elf. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Hashtag Uzi, hashtag wood to be honest. Hashtag Fallout New Vegas, squad. I agree with the last one. Actually, you know what? I agree with all of them except for Dwarf Alive. Nah, no on the Dwarf Alive. Let me tell ya. Better than the others because she's good for... Okay, well that's cool. Okay, then maybe I can mess with the Dwarf Alive. It's fine. I wrote a birthday request in your channel forum. Oh, what's this? Let's see. A birthday request. Hello. Scroll all the way down. We have Pandemic Herald. We have... I don't see... in your channel forum. What, which thing? Which, channel? my backstory is enough. Okay, well that's fair. Okay, let us move on here to the I'm sorry. The name of this freaking video. This was actually suggested by Papa Elfpire. But it says police find raccoon with meth pipe in its mouth during Ohio traffic stop. I don't know what that means, other than we're just gonna have to see. Like, I don't think there is so nulling. So we're just gonna do this. That should work. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna let this... We're gonna let it play, and we're gonna react to it.
Hi, how are we doing today? I'm Officer Brandon, Springfield Township Police Department.
Okay, stop it, Josh. How are you?
So the reason I stopped you is you are suspended with a warrant for your arrest.
I am?
So, do me a favor, turn off the car, put the keys up on the dash, detain you for that warrant, and because you are suspended actively. Oh.
I mean, okay.
Hey!
What?
Come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my god.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm gonna do it. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Thank you for the pipe.
Okay, you're on Arlington. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth
Well,
pipe.
that was...
Alright.
Well...
Oh, there's no... He's trying to smoke it!
Alright.
Oh, he's got another one.
Thanks.
There's no way! Alright,
No way.
alright,
What
enough
the
fun and games.
Here.
Yeah.
There's no way!
He grabbed another one.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah, right there. There we go. Here we go. There, I got the one frame. I got the one frame that is actually decent freaking view on it. But there you go. There you go. That is, yeah, I'm not sure, I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but that's insane. Oh my gosh, wow, that is impressive. The fact that there's even a raccoon in the vehicle to begin with. Yeah, I mean, for real. There's the thumbnail, yeah. Rocket, no, fucking raccoon, look. He's fallen on extremely hard times, okay? Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. That's funny. Okay, we have, another funny here. Yeah, these are all short, so that's why I'm getting, rid of them in the beginning. But, yeah, here we go. We have, R2-D2 Space. Return of the Mechanic number 12. This is the one that was suggested to me. They only have 8.4 subscribers. But this is the one that they said I need to watch. So this is the one we're gonna watch. It was released just a few days ago. So, let's set this up.
Previously on R2-D2 Speaks. Where the fuck are we going? What's wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong, R2.
Nothing? They just blew up our entire fucking base. Shouldn't we regroup with the others?
We're not going to regroup with the others.
Why the fuck not?
We're going to the Daba System.
Dagobah, mate. It's pronounced Dagobah.
Yes,
Is he
Don't yes,
Australian?
R2, mate. It's your language. I fucking recommend you learn it sometime.
Dagobah System.
Fine, be a little bitch about it. It's still the perfect time
Holy shit,
for
what
my
the
Wookiee mate to
fuck?
finally explain what
What?
Bitcoin and the light side of the Force have in common. Woo! Let's fucking go!
Holy shit.
Righto, here we go.
Oh my
here we
God,
fucking
that's-
go.
okay,
Here
oh.
we fucking go. Now, how many times I gotta tell you, cunts? Quit touching my fucking head. I know this is gonna sound in the comment section a lot, but how does that thing have a trapdoor and a great big fucking door out the front? Look at the size of that fucking door. What's the point of that?
Oh my god.
Stick it up your ass, you cave-telling cunts. Fucking told ya. I told
Holy
ya.
shit. Oh, great God.
Go wind the Millennium Falcon off.
Hey, Luke, thanks. Thanks for coming after me. Now I owe you one.
What? Again with this shit? Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. First of all, he didn't turn up until 2 days later. Lander got there first. Jesus fucking Christ, every fucking time, no matter what I do, you fucking flesh monkeys always take all the fucking credit, or you
Is
put
he
it
crashing
down
out?
to fucking cryptical, mystical, fucking space Fonzie bullshit.
but what?
Fucking parent
Yeah.
cunts, fuck you.
Oh, pray God,
Not
dude.
fucking funny. Why
Aren't
you
you?
look like a smarty looking
Calm
prick?
down.
I'll do you right fucking now, but wasn't for the fact that the road to Dagobah is our most watched fucking thing on Instagram, and therefore the AI algorithm's gonna treat this very fucking favourably, I'd tell you to stick your force right up your fucking ass.
That's right, R2. We're going to the Dagobah system.
What? That's what you took from that? Jesus, fuck, for the final time, it's pronounced Dagobah, you fucking idiot! Your version sounds like smegma, although to be fair, that is more apt. Place is, after all, a swampy fucking shithole.
I have a promise to keep. An old
Holy
friend.
shit.
Yeah, mate, with Yoda. You've been training with him for like a year and a half.
No wonder
I was
why he
fucking
just keeps
there.
in the worries. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, how invisible are we to you? At least start the landing cycle early this time so we don't fucking crash. Right over there, you see? You see what happens when you don't fly with your fucking eyes closed? All right, now piss off and figure out why Leia's your sister. Well, I explain exactly what
Wait, are you
any
in
of
Hawk?
this has
You
got
just
to do with
landed
a
in Dagobah,
frog
but
on
now
a
you're
fucking
not.
coin. Not that long ago.
Or
right here
in
on
R2
Earth, a fucking
stands for rage. Hey, you know what? With this, I believe it.
mischievous frog
Jesus.
was misused by hate groups during the QAnon phenomenon, a.k.a. the dark side. Now, in a truly hilarious series of events, that same frog is being used as a cryptocurrency to soothe those hate groups, a.k.a. the light side, thereby elevating what was previously a meme used for hate and cognitive bias into a fully formed joke at the...
Okay, we're done. Like, you lost me. You Why did you go weird? Why did you go weird? Everything was funny up until this point, and then now I'm being lectured by R2. What the fuck? Like, what? D stats for, damn it, Luke. D2 is drunk. Yeah. Twice as drunk. I don't know. Okay, we're done. We're done with this already. That's how quickly you can lose me when you get weird and political with your... Yeah, he's not wrong, but like, we're laughing at the funny jokes he's making as they're in the movies. We're not like, he doesn't need to lecture us in a freaking skit video. That's weird. Like, am I wrong in thinking that's weird? Yeah, that's right, I'm not wrong. I'm super wrong. Alright, so this one is also short, it's only about 6 minutes long, but it is far more serious. Released 3 days ago by Coleon Noir. It says, armed 7-year-old boys with guns have standoff with police. So that is a thing that is apparently now happening. Okay.
What the hell is going on in New Mexico?
What the hell's going? Yeah, fuck, oh god, it's New Mexico. Of course it's New Mexico. Okay, here we go. Yes, thank you. Don't forget to smash the like button. But here we go. Let us, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't believe we just, like, walked into just, like, a political lecture by R2D2. It was weird. About cryptocurrency of all things.
What in the actual hell is going on in New Mexico? I don't know what they're putting in the water out there, but between the meth-laced chaos and the daily Florida Man level headlines, New Mexico is really trying to out-Florida Florida. Because now we've got children, I'm talking 9 and 7 years old, having a full-blown standoff with the police.
It's a shocking standoff between deputies and 2 brothers armed with a loaded gun.
Put it down for me, okay?
You're not in trouble, but you have to drop that. And
Drone footage shows a 9-year-old boy hiding the gun behind his back. His 7-year-old brother tries to grab it. Then the boys start fighting over the loaded weapon.
Drop it, buddy.
Put it down, babe.
The 7-year-old boy takes possession.
It's okay. You're not in trouble, buddy.
Deputies continued calling out orders to the boys, desperately trying to stop a tragedy from happening.
Can you put it down for me?
Just put it down.
The boys, wearing Minecraft and Star Wars-themed pajamas, are in their neighbor's backyard in Albuquerque. Officers decide it's time to fire a non-lethal rubber bullet.
Drop it! Drop it!
It's a perfect shot, landing right between the brothers. But watch, the 9-year-old responds by raising the gun and taking aim at the deputies. Officers say he actually pulled the trigger, but thank goodness the gun malfunctioned. Another rubber bullet is fired, and this time, the deputies are able to move in as the boys try to hide.
Drop it now.
I don't even have the gun. I don't have the gun.
Deputies yank the gun away and take the brothers into custody as 7 officers swarm.
The only reason this didn't end with a child in a body bag is because that shitty gun jammed. Now, before anyone starts screaming this is a gun issue, no. This is a shitty parenting issue. This is a system failure issue. This is a what happens when you ignore.
Real quick, did the gun jam, or was it just like here's what I'm at, like okay, let's think about this for a second. Yeah, one, you are definitely in trouble. Maybe you weren't in trouble when you had the gun in your hand. Right? I think yeah, that was pure reflex. Kid knew what to do, and that's terrifying. Look, I mean, that's the thing. Like, he was shot at, asked to put it down, and then after he raised the gun and went to pull the trigger. Now, here's the thing. Did the gun jam? Or did the gun just fucking not fire because the safety was enabled? Because I didn't see any movement on the mechanism at all. So I don't think it jammed. I think the safety was on, and he did know better than to cut off the safety. I could be wrong. I could be absolutely wrong. But I feel like the safety was on, and not the gun jammed. That makes more sense to me anyway.
Ignore red flags for years and act shocked when the house finally burns down issue. The cops have been called to the house over 50 times. Over 50 times.
50 times?
So how do we go from we've been to this house 50 times to we're shocked this happened? You serious? This isn't about safe storage laws. This isn't about AR-15s.
Not at all.
This is about a house so dysfunctional the kids are out here playing Grand Theft Auto Albuquerque in real life. I know some anti-gunners' first thought is gonna be, see, this is why we need more gun control. But my first thought is, this is why shitty people shouldn't have kids. Because those kids...
This is, like, here's the thing. Like, this is, I'll say 100%. Yeah, 50 times, that's insane. But this is like, where's CPS? Where's your minors advocates or minors council? Or like, where's anybody on the system actually dealing with this as they fucking should? Because I'm telling you right now, as somebody who's worked in family law and as a child's council, minors council, actually it's called, but like, I don't understand how 50 times, like, this is beyond just a parenting issue anymore. This is a failure of the system, like, completely. How in the world have the cops been called over 50 times to this location and you guys still have this family unit intact? I'm sorry, but like, where's the parents and where is CPS? Where's anybody? Where's anybody in this for these kids? Like, these kids have been failed on just about every level.
Grow up to be shittier people. I meant what I said. This is a parenting failure, a systemic failure, and yet we keep having the same damn conversation every time something like this happens. People see two kids with a gun and immediately scream, see, guns are the problem. No, the problem is we've built a culture that's quicker to ban objects than to hold people accountable. Let's run this down. A 9-year-old and a 7-year-old are in a standoff with police. The 9-year-old raises a real loaded gun. He pulls the trigger. The only reason the kids aren't dead right now is because the gun malfunctioned. Police have already visited the home over 50 times. The father in jail, but not before teaching them how to use that gun. The kids are still living with their mother, and CPS didn't pull them out after the 10th call, or the 30th call, or the 50th call.
Or the 5th, or
but sure,
yeah.
let's make another law about locking up guns because you think a dude who's been in and out of prison is gonna be like, wait, let me secure this pistol in a biometric safe I got from Costco. Are you serious? Let's be real here. Bad parents don't follow laws. Criminals don't follow laws.
Sadly, he's absolutely right. Also, welcome to the chat. And Galileo Alonzi, welcome to the chat as well as Lancian Sen. Visit quote. Gabism. Hello, Chad and Eva. Have you seen the MommaOcco was mentioned? And I did. It was very cool. But JP Ravenfire is absolutely right. The system is filled with far more people who are downright apathetic, if not malicious, towards the children that they're supposed to care about, which makes the system very ineffective.
You think they give a damn about your feel-good legislation? If they ignored 50 police visits, what makes you think they're gonna respect a piece of paper that says, lock up your guns?
Yes,
that's like putting up a no trespassing sign on a crack house. This ain't about the gun. This is about the environment these kids were raised in. This is about years of warning signs being ignored until it boiled over into a headline-grabbing crisis. And the funny thing is, this happens all the time in this country. Except this time, because it's little kids having a standoff with the cops, people are finally paying attention to it. The environment, the socioeconomic issues contribute to this shit. And yet, instead of dealing with that dysfunction at its root, we go straight to the same lazy excuse. If only there weren't guns. Let me tell you something. There are millions of kids in this country who grow up around guns and never end up in a standoff with the police. Why? Because they have responsible parents. They're raised in a stable home. They're taught the difference between Call of Duty and real life. But when you grow up in a war zone masquerading as a household where the cops are on speed dial, where dad is in jail and mom's overwhelmed or checked out or shit, she's just as bad her damn self, guns aren't the problem. They're just the symptom. And now they're talking about possibly charging the parents under the Benny's Law, which makes adults criminally responsible when kids get unauthorized access to guns. Cool, charge them. But where was that energy after visit number 25 or 35 or 49? This whole thing could have ended in tragedy.
Okay, wait a minute. So you're telling me, I'm sorry, but this is a problem I'm gonna have. That you're telling me that they are going to be charging the parents for criminal negligence for allowing their small children access to their weapons. Awesome. But what I'm not hearing is I'm not seeing or heard about any actual legislation being proposed in response to this to make locking up guns more important, or like criminal offenses for not, I'm not seeing any of that. And you went, oh, good, you're doing it now, but what about when 25 times ago? I agree it should have been done sooner, but let's acknowledge that the right thing is being done here. Because if you're not, you freaked out for 5 minutes to find out that the parents are being rightfully charged for what they did and what was actually criminal, and you're just upset that it wasn't done sooner. I'm upset that it was not done sooner as well, but I'm not going to dismiss the fact that the right thing is being done here. So that's kind of my thing there.
That kid could have shot a cop. Cop could have been forced to shoot a child. That's a nightmare scenario, and it almost happened. So yeah, I'm glad it ended the way it did. But don't you dare use this to push more laws on the rest of us while the system keeps letting kids like this.
See, okay, so that's what I thought this was. I'm sorry, but, not a great narrative to deep. Because, again, he just admitted, don't you dare use this to pass legislation. So he's saying, don't do it, because I know you're going to do it, which means they haven't done it yet, and they're properly charging the parents. So why are you mad? You're mad, I understand being angry, but you're just lashing out at everything at the moment. You lash it, they should have, and first of all, for somebody said, Billy Donuts, CPS should have been called 30 calls again. CPS should have been called, 45 calls again. 5 calls to the same household, regarding cops. The cops are called on this household 5 times. That's too much in my opinion. the CPS should absolutely do a wellness check, look into things at that point, like, period. And so I will say, yes, it wasn't done soon enough. That can be annoying. But don't frame your whole video like they're going to be using this to pass more strict gun control legislation, and then at the very end, the very, like, last minute, don't you dare do this. Well, they didn't do it. You're mad at them and chastising them for something they haven't quite done yet.
Fall through the cracks. Oh, and in case you're wondering where I got this awesome hat, right now, this is part of our new design, Defend America. Right now, available at shop.mrcolonelnoir.com. We have them in hats, we have them in hoodies, we have them in drinkware, you name it. So I'm going to put a link in the description section of this video for you to check.
Yeah, it would be a bad situation in general. I mean, I can think of a law, one like where the cops are called 20 times on the same house for children CPS needs to investigate. There's a lot of states that already have that in place. This just seems like an oversight on the state's part. Like they just dropped the ball in terms of like making sure that these children weren't being just completely destroyed mentally. That being said, we have one more. No, we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 more. 4 more. But this says, should AI replace juries in court? It is by kind of consensual. It's 5 days ago. And let's see here. I'm gonna try keeping an open mind here. But I'm hoping... Oh my god, okay, this is not even my fault. Look, guys, this is... look, this is the first frame in the video. Like, it's not... That's not my fault. I did nothing here. But that holy shit did your face. This is one of the best pause frames like I've ever accidentally come across. Like look at this. Hold on. Let me... Here we go. Oh my gosh, it's freaking hilarious. Whatever happened to 3 strikes you're out? Yeah, that is true. You have the 3 thing. I mean, I think if the cops are called on a household with children in them 3 times over the same thing, right? Like over something like a domestic or something. I can understand that. But I think it'll also depend on the nature of the call and stuff and the purpose of it, right? Because like if some Karen is just calling the cops on this poor couple because they're a little loud and they're arguing, I don't think that should necessarily go towards, oh, well, now we gotta investigate you, because this is your 3rd call. So there's some nuance that you have to apply to the situation for sure.
I feel like trial by jury is just no longer effective, or it won't be effective soon, and we need to come up with an alternative.
Why?
Because trial by jury was invented in a time where information moved very slowly, if at all. But now, with how fast social media and information can travel, it almost makes it impossible to get a truly neutral venue.
Well, it's never going to be...
No. I'm sorry, but no. Like, we've seen this numerous times. We've seen, like, with, like, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, right? There are members of the jury who have never even seen a movie with Johnny Depp in it, believe it or not. There's a lot of people on this planet, and some people are quite a bit more sheltered than others. You talk to me about, like, certain aspects of the news, I will be very informed. But there are other things I have no fucking clue what the hell you're talking about. This is just people in general. I'm sorry, but you agree with him? you're gonna have to show me a lot of instances in where a jury is ineffective. And I mean a lot. They need to be anonymized better, sure, but this is, should AI replace juries in court? And his statement said, juries are either ineffective or about to become ineffective. Why is it either, why is this inevitability? I do agree with you that juries could be anonymized better, sure. But that's not what the statements that were just made are implying or pushing. The point that's being pushed here, I simply disagree with.
Be neutral ground, right? You're battling for a neutral ground based on defense and prosecution, right? So when when they're picking a trial to include their extras, there's like the defense and the prosecution.
Because here's the thing. You will know when a jury becomes, like, when juries in general become ineffective as a rule of thumb. You will see a lot of jury nullification or hung juries happening. Like, I'm talking like a vast, massive percentage. But the fact is, when somebody's called to jury duty, they take the duty seriously. They actually do their best to sequester themselves. They don't talk about it. And they do their best to pass a fair judgment. For instance, there were multiple Trump supporters, people who support Trump, who voted to convict in the 34 felony counts for the state level on New York for the fraudulent tax documents or whatever the hell. I'm not going to get political with it, but I'm just mentioning that juries have to be unanimous. Okay? If juries are actually ineffective, we'd be getting hung juries left and right, center. We'd never be able to get anything done in the courts. The fact of the matter is, juries still, a vast majority of the time, will go over the facts and come to a unanimous decision. Once that stops happening, I agree, the system is breaking down and it needs to be addressed. But that is not the case yet. We don't have the statistics to support that.
Prosecution gets like 4 each, where they're like the other team can't say no. So let's make it like we'll make it like the teen stabbing, right? 4 like that's gonna sound racist. I don't want it to be too racist. Let's say that it's let's say it's a assault, right? So the defense, if it's a dude, right, is gonna want like men on most likely, and the prosecution might want more women who are like mother aged because they would want them to see like the victim as their child, right? And each one of them can't say no. And then that's 8, right? So then there's another 4 because you get 12 juries, 12. The other 4 are like they have to vote on and pick yes or no and battle between. So that's a jury trial, right? Then you have a bench trial. Just a judge. And you're going to go, Rich, well, the judge knows what's going on. Yeah, but there's also Soros judges. So you've got to play the field, right? It's never going to be completely neutral. The judges are going to go on how they feel and they interpret the law, which could be left-leaning, right-leaning, or in the middle. And the jury's going to do the same thing, but at least you get a say. If you go for a bench trial, and that's kind of up in the air, it's just whoever's available.
Yeah, that's true. With a jury, you do get a say, and you get to make your case. And here's the thing, like he said, prosecution and defense during voir dire, when jury selection, and you're talking, you're basically determining if a juror can be properly neutral. You ask them a bunch of different questions that are usually applied and approved to the judge, and the judge will let you ask those questions to the jurors. The juror will answer yes or no, and you will get everybody on both sides gets a certain number of let's call them strikes just for our purposes. But basically, you can go, okay, I don't want this person on there, and you don't even have to really give them a reason, but you can, and you can put them out, get them replaced with another juror. So jury selection is a very complicated, complex process that is fielding a jury of your peers to basically get a bunch of people from different walks of life to determine, based on the set of facts presented to them, if you did the thing or not. So, do you prefer jury or bench trials? It depends. I know that's a very weird answer, but it really does depends. In more complex and complicated trials and cases, like a very complex murder trial or something, I might suggest to my client as the defendant to waive his right to a jury trial and get a bench trial. Because the judge will have a more firmer grasp on the law and any nuances that might be present in that complicated case. If it's a much more cutthroat, like the facts are just out in the open and stuff, then I might go with a jury trial to try and do an emotional appeal or to mitigate whatever inedible sentence my defendant is going to be facing. So, again, it really does depend. Speaking of art, you've seen his recent video. I don't think I have. Arch's new favorite topic. Is it? Wait, jury selection and stuff is like his favorite topic right now? That's kind of funny.
Literally, I have been in, like, with prosecutors that have been like, bro, we better wait.
Thank you, Sparkies, for the 2. Imagine having a wall system like in Psychopaths. I don't think I've ever played that or watched that.
Because if we put this up on trial right now, this judge is going to get it because they're on the bench this week. And there's no way. They're so fucking liberal, there's no way. And you're like, okay, cool, fuck that.
So
I've only ever done a bench trial. I've never been called to the stand for a jury trial, which will eventually happen.
That's surprising.
It'll probably be yours. But
oh no, actually that's not true. I got pulled in front of a jury one time during COVID. Or no, I think it was a grand jury. No, that was grand jury. Never mind. So it's different.
But I still feel like, that makes me feel a little better about like the neutral territory thing, but like I still think that now, especially with like humongous cases like the track stabbing, like I don't know how you overcome, like 12 members of the jury are still going to go home and read comments all day and night, and it's like, well, fuck, if these people find out who I am, are they going to burn my house down, or are they going to target me? Like, I don't know how you handle that.
Well, I'll give you 2 things.
Like, okay, I don't know. Like, maybe there's a thing, because anybody who served on a jury can't, like, say that, oh yeah, I read up on the trial all night, right? Even after the trial. Because then if you reveal that, then that's a problem. But I really don't think that so many people are going, I think people take jury duty far more seriously than they do. The people who actually answer that letter in the mail instead of throwing it away in the trash, yeah, that's what most people do. And that kind of person being on a jury, they absolutely would. They would probably abuse it and misuse the system. But the type of person to actually answer a jury summons and rise to their civic duty actually has some level of faith and respect of the system and is not going to disrespect it like that. And usually if they do, it's usually caught by the judge, prosecution, a court clerk, anything, relatively quickly. We have seen jury nullification happen and jurors being thrown out for being biased or it being revealed that they researched the information on the case. But again, I think the majority of the time, a jury member takes their duty very seriously.
What jury from even OJ, what jury has ever been physically attacked after the verdict? Nobody. You want to know why? Because the second that fucking happens, that person that attacked that jury is going to set a precedent of, they're going to be used to set a precedent of, oh, cool, you don't like the way our judicial system works, and you're going to attack somebody who got all the information. And you just listen to the fucking news. Get ready for jail for fucking ever. They're fucked. I can't honestly, I can't remember any where where threats were hurled at people, of course. But I've never actually seen physical violence actually meet a juror.
I would have to research that,
and then
but
that
I'm
would
sure
make the fucking news, wouldn't it?
All right, so this is where I get stupid. How do you feel about not maybe now, but in the near future, if you could actually have a controlled AI that would literally, its whole job was just to hear the case, know what the laws are, and shit out the correct answer.
You need the human aspect, because here's the deal. Jury nullification, right?
Yeah.
You can have, or even Kyle Rittenhouse, like that's kind of steep, right? It's how the defense and the prosecution pitches what they're doing and the different strategies that they use. It's chess. And yes, of course, you can use a computer to play chess and beat people, but there's still a lot more grandmasters out there that can beat a computer.
No, there's not.
No.
Does that make sense?
No, there's not.
No computer, no grandmaster can beat a computer.
None. Even Magnus Carlsen can't beat the iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Well, there's a lot more than just, knight to e5 in law.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I get that. Man, but AI would be extremely difficult. I see both
Yeah,
points.
thank you. Private Parts
you
is
do need
absolutely accurate. You need the ads. Oh my god, another great fucking pause. Another great pause frame. But law is a human construct. We need a human determination. I think also this would be unconstitutional because AI isn't my peer. That's true. That's true, actually. A jury
human
of your peers.
element, but then when you have just factual, when it's just factual, it's like, here is all the statistics, here's the analytics, here is statistically how
I wonder if another great fucking pause frame, Jesus Christ. But I wonder what about, like, Jesus, I don't like saying it because it's so gross, and we have seen instances of AI trying and failing spectacularly in court. But what if the jury was read to or presented evidence by an AI, maybe piloted or are done by the attorney, but the thing doesn't add any, like, human flair, emotion, inflection, tone, in reading the transcripts or anything like that. It just presents the jury the information, the evidence, as a kind of intermediary between the attorney and the judge and jury. But it's still the attorney's compilation of evidence, for or against whatever claims are being made, but it's presented by this AI. I don't know. Just a thought.
guilty they are, and then it would weigh it to a certain percentage, which that's what you would have to, I guess, distinguish between. It's like, what is that number? If it's 95, 99.5, whatever, it's like guilty, but they'd be super accurate.
Let me phrase it.
Accurate.
I don't know how it would adapt to our culture either, because slavery used to be legal.
That's true.
If AI was around, let's say slavery was around now, or slavery was around when AI, judicial ceremonies or whatever you want to call them were going on, AI would be like, okay, cool. Well, this is the law. You can have slaves and they can't run away. And this state says that. So if you're in this state, this happens.
So that
you need a human element to evolve.
That kind of leads into what I was just going to ask is, like, obviously, like, the human element and emotions can be a plus or a minus depending on your case.
I'll tell you a minus story when you're done.
Do you think that the human element, given the opportunity to just have a cold machine shit out the right answer based on nothing but facts, do you think that that would be a net positive or a net negative in the long run, as opposed to, like, combining that human element? Because to give like an,
I mean, that's a fair. But he asked this question, but he's gonna give like a linker. I don't need a linker for this question. So I think it depends on how the AI is implemented. If you just have the AI be the jury and it's just fed this information and then it spits out what it thinks, I don't know about that. Even an AI judge, I don't know about that. But I do think that in the same way that, like, the court stenographer, right? In the same way that they record what is said and everything, maybe the attorney will talk to this AI, give it all its information, its evidence, and stuff like that. The AI presents it in court, but it's still the AI's. It's still the attorney's like evidentiary findings and shit like that. It's still their arguments. It's just presented in a way that's completely devoid of human manipulation. So like adding inflection in your tone, reading a transcript the wrong way, stuff like that. I don't know. I think AI needs to get a lot farther along before it can be considered for any critical fashion of like the court system, be it judge, jury, court clerk, stenographer, whatever the fuck. I don't care. I think that AI needs it has a lot of growing up to do before it can handle legal or even paralegal shit.
An example of each of like we've all heard the stories of like son was abused and dad went and like fucking murdered the killer and got off scot-free. Like who was the guy that shot the dude at the phone booth at the airport? Gary. So like he got away.
Gary? Why?
Gary. If AI was deciding that case, there's no way Gary would have got away because it didn't combine the human element. But the human element was like, actually, I kind of like that shit. You're free to go. So do you think in the long run it'd be like a net positive or a net negative?
That's a good. Okay, so that's a good. Hey, that's a good application because if you just applied the law strictly as it was, the guy murdered somebody in cold blood. But the jury found his actions to be reasonable given the extenuating circumstances surrounding that case, involving the abuse of his son and everything. Yeah, why, Gary? Why? Exactly. So I'm not scared of AI. I think it's useful too. I use it for game development. It speeds up the creative process, especially as a solo. Yes, 100%. Like all of my my covers. I don't just like download a karaoke version of a song. I'll usually download the song or the guitar arrangement or whatever, and then I use this AI voice karaoke tool remover, and it'll separate the vocals from the music, and then I can take the music, sing along with it, and then like add in the background vocals or stuff like that. But it is a tool that otherwise would have made my cover production almost zero because it would cost so much money to get the right arrangements or instruments or whatever the fuck I wanted. But now with AI, I can take what I want from a song, leave what I don't want, what I want to contribute, like the main voice and stuff like that, and then put it together and it comes out decent. So yeah, I think AI is not something to be feared. It is a tool, and a tool that it's just as foolish to be scared of AI as it would have been to be scared of the cotton gin. It's just an advancement in how we do things. It helps us save time, but it's not by any means to me a replacement. At least not yet.
I think if AI were to be used, it would have to be agreed on by both parties, as opposed to the defense choosing what it wants. So right now the defense chooses if it wants a jury trial or a bench trial. So because of the human element that you might want, the third option would be AI. We're gonna, kind of...
Oh, okay, I kind of like this. So you make a different kind of trial. You have a bench trial, you have a jury trial, and then you have this AI-assisted trial. Almost like I kind of see what he's laying down here, and that's interesting to think about. Where you actually have, like, the defendant could ask for an AI trial, but it would still be up to the consent of the prosecutor to allow that third option to be pursued, in lieu of a bench trial or a jury trial. Okay. I'm gonna hear him out. That's an interesting idea.
Screen this out. Mm-hmm. And if it was going to be AI, I feel like because there could be certain advantages for either side or a tactic that they would like to use, specifically for AI, it would have to be then agreed upon by both parties.
Okay.
And even then, How do you do it? Is AI listening to you while you pitch it? Are you just going to type it all up and then let it scan in and then he chicka-ching, 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 like an old teletype, just spit out the answer? Be like, all right, we have looked at all the data. We have compared it to the laws and the things that you brought up, and here you go. Here, ready for this? So when I was on the Tim Pool podcast, the very intelligent lawyer.
You know what actually would be interesting to me? Oh my god. Okay, dude. Guys, our pause streams right now are freaking 10 out of 10. Hold on. We had to do this one. This one's great. Look at that. Well, hello there, sir. Hello there. Also, one big thing is also, would it be worth it? Yeah, that's a question.
Andrew, I forget his last name. It was like Baraba or something like that. He brought up a case where an attorney filed motions in some sort of court and handed it into the judge, and the judge looked at it, and the judge was looking at it, and he was like, and it had a bunch of case law in it, like, you know, per this case of such and such date, they did this, and that backs up my point of view. Per this case on such and such a date with these such and such people, it, you know, does this, and that supports my point of view. The judge looked at it and was just like, I can't find any of these things. The attorney used AI to write up his charges, and the judge is like, cool, you're coming in on this day to show me the case law for these things that you've written down in this legal document that you gave to me. Bring it. And guess what? He's not going to be able to bring it because it's all bullshit. So he's going to get disbarred, most likely, at least, or suspended from the bar for a certain number of years. Because AI
look up that case again, but
not referenced, made up case law.
Yeah, it hallucinated
to support
case law.
his thing. So AI is not perfect. And if AI is not perfect, why use it when we've already got the human imperfection that we're used to for the past 1,000 years?
You will get zero pushback. That is where people are fucking up. They're using it completely to do everything without checking it. I say AI is very good for like you.
I feel like AI would be good for the prosecution. Here's a statement from the guy that said he touched a kid. Here's a statement from a girl who said she was touched by the guy. And they're going to go, AI is going to go, oh, he admitted to it. Sweet, 15 years.
Supplement it. It is no different than thumbnails versus, like, anything you can use AI for, but you still need that human refinement to separate
like
it.
Like the base thumbnail for, here, we're going to, they pretty much made their points. I very much like the last point that was being made, but it pretty much, AI is yet to be perfect, and if it's not perfect yet, why bother switching to it when we already have the imperfection of humanity? Because we'd just be switching one imperfection for another. That's not improving anything. It's just changing it. Exactly, Bizzlequo, exactly. It has to be measurably better. Pound for pound. That being said, let us go ahead and get us over to the next one. I'm so sorry I just stole the next one. This one is... I think this one is silly, but like also kind of not. So we're gonna see. But here we go. We have 100 men versus 1 gorilla. Everything you need to know. I don't know what is wrong with you guys. On the internet. Oh my god, I just realized that I didn't inform Twitter. You're already an hour into stream. I'm not informing Twitter now. I just gotta own the L here. But yeah. Let us Okay, so 100 men versus 1 gorilla. Everything you need to know about casual geographic. I don't know. Law is not science. Engineering is. Use AI and design. Yeah. Point of trial by peers is more fairness which isn't always the correct answer. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Okay, here, let us do this. Bam. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
One gorilla is just the newest online debate brought to you by people that have way too much time on their hands. And I'm no better, because here I am making a video about it. Because it's quickly gone from silly Twitter talk to what has to be a massive joke that I'm not in on. What's clear is one side is getting drastically overrated, while people obviously aren't taking the other side seriously. Plus, I love animals and arguments, so if you're looking for a video to eat your lunch with, or to be the soundtrack of your commute home, I'm going to break down the question you probably didn't care about in the first place, and by the end, you'll wonder how this was ever even a question. So here's the full truth of whether 100 unarmed men could beat one prime silverback gorilla. But first, we gotta understand what force of nature we're up against. Now, I do have a couple recent videos on gorillas, so to not repeat myself too much, I do advise that you check those out for further context.
Okay, like,
but
what are the, like, parameters, though? Like, is this an enraged gorilla? Or is this just, like, a gorilla as a gorilla normally is? Because they're pretty, I wouldn't say docile, but they avoid fighting at all possible, like venue ever. Like, I would say if they had 3 modes, 2 of those modes are pretty much chill. One mode is fighting, probably for dominance, when a alpha challenges another alpha for control of the herd or the pack or whatever you call them. But I imagine that's probably the most actually aggressive they get is during times of like testosterone and challenging one another. They're like herbivores, so like they're not like, they don't hunt. They're not violently aggressive towards other species unless they need to defend themselves. I don't know. This is in the gorilla's going to be enraged when 100 dudes run up on him. So it doesn't matter too much. Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess
everything we thought about gorillas back in the day was wrong. They're giant, non-violent, fart-happy pacifists, and the most dangerous thing about them is they can misunderstand regular human actions as an act of war. So while, yeah, if you smile at a silverback enough times, he eventually will put beats on you like a Cherokee drum, most times a gorilla is just worried about the 6,000 calories he eats a day. And thank the stars for that. Gorillas are built like the developer had something to prove. They took the human model and said, drag to resize. The result is an alpha ape with a stronger bite force than a grizzly, allegedly, hands that can crush a crocodile's skull, allegedly, and just strength that we really have no way to truly comprehend. That man fully didn't plan to get casually ragdolled, but plans are always subject to change when you're around the prime ape. Gorillas might default to peace, but life is multiple choice. The question is, what kind of carnage comes when they choose violence? It's hard to imagine what a fully malice-motivated gorilla can do because it takes a lot for them to get to that point. The first phase of conflict involves using body language and gestures to send a message before hands even have to be thrown. Because for an animal that can spend over 12 hours a day eating, wasting calories on fights is poor resource management. The second phase of escalation usually involves pushing, grappling, and screaming in really short bursts. Gorillas fight the way they fuck. What I mean is, the phase they run are like how they're hung. Not long at all. Because again, most times gorillas don't actually want to fight. But what about when they do? Yeah, that would be phase 3, and that usually happens when 2 silverbacks throw down for control of a group. Losing such would mean losing the 3 Fs: food, family, and the FCC won't let me finish, but stakes can make these fights to the death, and here's where we can see what gorillas are truly capable of. I found a research paper that detailed the injuries sustained in gorilla-on-gorilla fights, and based on that, you see a pattern. Those teeth are for more than just undressing trees, and losers are often found with lacerations and puncture wounds all over the body. And unlike a leopard, which leaves small puncture wounds, the canines of a gorilla cause large gaping tears in victims. Even if the gorilla's bite strength has been exaggerated, which we will get into, even lowballing them puts them at the level of a hyena. One gorilla named Inshuti had his foot completely crushed with the tips of his fingers and ear bitten off. Gorillas also use their arms, not really to punch but to use as battering rams, and they've also been known to pull chunks of hair out with their hands. So safe to say, a gorilla's stiff arm to the back would crack your constitution like a glow stick and could dislocate or break human bones by accident. And with many victims also recorded with bite wounds to the face, you'd probably be able to unlock your iPhone from 20 feet away after a gorilla puts jaws on you. So what chance would an army of humans have against a 500-pound berserker. Well, hot take, gorillas have been drastically overrated in many ways. First as fighters. Gorillas aren't efficient fighters, they're more physical brawlers and grapplers.
Yeah.
And with everything I've said, most fights last anywhere from a couple seconds to 1 to 2 minutes at the most. Also, as strong as gorillas are, their strength has been overrated. There are some animals that just get more and more OP the more people talk about them. Chimps have been said to have the strength of 8 men when really it's closer to 1.5. It's just that they're stronger in all the ways that can kill you. And grizzly bears are already big enough, but then you got people claiming they could decapitate a full-grown moose with one swipe. Now, what idiot would say that? And this debate has people swearing a gorilla would rip a whole man in half like a phone book with nary a sweat. I knew the gorilla propaganda peaked when this was an actual debate. Dr. Strange could conjure up 14 million realities. You won't find one where a plus-size protein-packing primate can do anything to a full-strength grizzly bear taking him seriously.
Do they really?
Especially since there's a much smaller predator known to give gorillas problems. Gorillas have been documented getting preyed on by African leopards. Even with jungle leopards being bulkier due to less competition, that's still an at most 180-pound cat past tensing Optimus Prime. Now let me be fair, these are rare and leopards usually go for hoofed animals, wild pigs, and monkeys. Gorillas are actually too big and too social to be a regular on the grocery list, so it sounds like my whole point is trash.
Yeah, for
but
real.
That same paper listing gorilla on gorilla violence also showed the aftermath of leopard attacks. In those reports, all leopard victims took bite wounds to the head and most of the arms, with lacerations localized about the neck and claw marks on the trunk. So even though it is rare and a one-on-one between a silverback and a leopard might murk both, if a gorilla can struggle with less than 200 pounds of predator, a 900-pound deratio would give Harambe a bunkmate. Also, against 100 men, there are some very real issues that could be game over for the gorilla. The big one is endurance. Gorillas are dangerously close to being hot girl fit. They're best using explosive bursts of energy, not sustained strain over a long period of time, and a fight against 100 humans would likely last hours. Which is really bad considering compared to us, gorillas have poor temperature control. Gorillas don't have as many sweat glands as humans, and if we're talking about mountain gorillas, the thick fur would make it a 1-on-1 versus 1. The men, and the risk of heat stroke. That is if the ape doesn't just have a heart attack. Cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in gorillas in zoos, and 70% of male gorillas in zoos suffer from heart disease that'll past tense them prematurely. Now that might just apply to zoo gorillas, but it's still a factor. Another is the very temperament of the gorilla is highly non-confrontational. They're more likely to run away than run a fade. But most importantly, the brawling, grappling build is not a good combat style against multiple enemies. We know that cause there's another African predator that's been giving gorillas hell, and you may not have even realized it. And it's weird because for a while, gorillas and chimpanzees seem like they were on good terms. They've been recorded foraging together, and they'll even have their version of primate playdates. That all changed when the chimps started chimping. A couple years ago in Luongo National Park, scientists witnessed a gang of 18 chimps jump a gorilla family of 5. That's 3 females, 1 baby, and a silverback.
What the fuck?
The turf war lasted an hour, and even with the silverback apparently testing ragdoll physics, throwing chimps in the air, and even managing to injure 3. Eventually he was surrounded and chased off by 9 chimps. The adults got away, but the chimps managed to snatch the baby gorilla of the group, which was probably Ian. The second attack involved 27 chimpanzees and 7 gorillas, and this time, the silverback made a business decision and immediately climbed out of the trees and fled the scene. Yes, comparing chimps to humans is comparing durians to jackfruit. The moral here is the one gorilla can not only be overwhelmed, but neutralized by numbers. Because if there's one thing that's being dangerously underrated, it's the power of friendship. Don't laugh, I'm serious. If you remember this picture, then you know this was the 100 Men 1 Gorilla of 2018. It's pretty self-explanatory. Everything here is coming for your life except the 2 you picked to run defense for you. And I'm just gonna kill the suspense. If one of those picks isn't the 10,000 rats, you have no idea how big 10,000 is. Add eagles for aerial support and the rest of the field would have over 200 rats to deal with each. And it's cause the power of plurality is one of the most broken strategies in nature. Mobbing refers to an anti-predator behavior where prey animals approach, harass, and sometimes attack their own predator. It's how one animal can shift an almost impossible matchup in their favor. 1 hyena to a lion is a chew toy. Add 20 and it's a life lesson. Pilot whales have been on record chasing orcas out of high competition areas and even actively following the sounds of orca hunts. There's plenty of examples of weaponized unity in nature, but probably my favorite case of what's akin to a mob happens off the coast of South Africa, where fur seals have to risk their spot on the census every time they check the fridge. Cause the seals can't go out for groceries without the chance of running into the biggest predatory fish on earth. Every year, great white sharks will gather around fur seal nurseries and snatch any inexperienced pups. The problem is so many sharks show up that a seal can dodge one great white right into the jaws of another. You've seen this movie before, but there's an alternate ending. Scientists have recorded fur seals squatting up into one giant group and using their numbers to turn on the sharks closing in. And as the mob gets bigger, the seal force gets more confident, leading to them escorting the 20-foot assault submarines back out to sea. So with all this, now it doesn't seem like a stretch to favor 100 men over just one gorilla. You could argue that the SEALs and the other mob merchants aren't actually getting physical with their final boss.
Yeah, 100
That's
people
true. Everyone's asking
coordinating
if 100
against a
men
single
could off a
gorilla.
gorilla. No one's asking how.
I think we
But
know
that's
who's gonna
why I'm
win.
here. But first, obligatory, don't try this on a gorilla, or at least don't blame me for the consequences if you do. In a fight against a simian weighing a shack and a half, it's all about attacking the weak points, and a gorilla's weak points are the same as ours. Eyes, throat, mouth, and for measure, the jewels of the South. It's all about delivering damage that actually matters, and to do that, someone would have to perform the Draymond Green special and go for the eyes and blind him. Someone else would have to suffocate the supersized simian, either by bear hugging his windpipe, which only Tarzan backpacking plot armor can do, or by shoving your entire arm down his throat. And since you're already negotiating your arm elbow deep in esophagus, you'd also have to pull the gorilla's tongue out. I call that the leopard method, because a 73-year-old once soloed an attacking leopard by reaching into its mouth and ripping out the leopard's liquor. And speaking of grab and pull, someone would have to be elected to perform Draymond's final smash and go for the gorilla's unmentionables. Hey, don't judge. This is war. The rest would have to use their combined strength to pin the primate down, with the remainder
I'll show
delivering
you how
kicks
many
to the
humans I
gorilla's
could take at
flank,
once.
the most powerful natural attack to the gorilla's most vulnerable area. That would
Quick.
probably be the best way to chip away at a gorilla. One problem though, this is still a gorilla we're talking about. Even with everything I said about their
Yeah, hold on. I got this. Alright guys. This is me versus just a few humans. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. It take a lot. I'm just letting you know right now, it would take a lot. And get wrecked,
strength being
son.
overrated, a gorilla fighting for its life would show you destruction like you've never seen. It doesn't matter how many men, the method, or the facet, for those first few, their only outcome is a closed casket. Even if numbers eventually win, those first dozen or so men would be horrifically maimed, mutilated, or straight up murked. You can argue that if I can mention that 100 men running over the hill would intimidate even a gorilla, witnessing men getting mauled and disfigured would inflict psychological damage. There's an argument that witnessing the sheer carnage would weaken the resolve of the others, destabilizing the army. And you have to remember, if mobbing is natural, doing so in a way that guarantees a portion of your team sees Tupac live isn't. Even animals like hyenas will fall back if they sense they don't have enough of an advantage in a clan fight. Ah, but there's a catch. The tweet that started all this said, "Dedicated to that shit. Surely if men can watch bunkmates get blown to bits in a war, then you can find 100 willing to die about a gorilla. If they can withstand the visceral reaction of seeing jaws getting detached, limbs getting dislocated, and a field of open fractures, 100 men would definitely beat a gorilla. And moral of the story, we have strayed so far from the halo of Harambe. Yeah, this is the part where I do the annoying thing and turn a tweet made by someone who definitely wouldn't pass a P-test into a lecture. But like I said in the other video, gorillas have already been getting the middle finger from humanity, either in the wild or in zoos. Whether it's trophy hunting or bushmeat, habitat loss, or an unsupervised minor, humans have the highest KD ratio against our green machine cousins. Because a gorilla has never been on record life depriving a person, even when they may have had a reason. Yet the mountain gorilla is nearly in bed with extinction mostly because of humans.
Is that true?
But not all humans. Some dedicate their entire lives to the welfare of this giga ape, which is why I will be donating to Virunga National Park. Not only do they treat and protect the gorillas there as family, they often have to risk their lives regularly going against poachers. That and the fact that I made a video detailing how to murk an endangered species makes my soul itch, so link down below if you'd like to donate as well. I'm not kidding when I say they're family. This man was seen comforting one of his young gorillas after his mother died. And fun fact, Virunga National is where we got this gem. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Fun little video that nobody should take seriously. Nah, but I think I'm gonna start doing the animal versus animal face-off videos again. So let me know what animal matchup you'd like to see me yap about. There's one I've been wanting to get into.
Okay, so this next one. Gorillas are dope. They are. They really are. This next one is another one suggested to me by Papa Elfpire. It was done 7 days ago, and it says 500 mph crash into audience. This says the in-depth disaster documentary of the deadliest air show in U.S. history, the Reno Air Race crash in 2011. This is why they no longer have the Reno Air Race. Daredevil pilots fly supercharged planes. It is an experience of a lifetime for aviation fans. As thunderous tears through the city, the dry desert air. But when the galloping ghost leaves formation, excitement becomes panic in an instant. Duck Record seems like a pretty cool guy, I'm not gonna lie. Footage used under the fair use policy, and he had... Oh, wow, dude, okay. Well, check this out. This is so cool. I'm sorry, I gotta... This is one of the first times I've ever actually seen this. I tried to do this, but, like, he did it so good. Hold on. Let me do this. Suggest a topic for my next video, but footage used under fair use policy. Thank you for all to all creators. And look at this. Every bit of freaking footage that he used, videos that showed up in his freaking thing, showed up in here. That's so cool to see a short-sighted list like that. As you guys can see in my description, I tried to do that too, but it's not something I see that's remarkably common. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this.
Pilots flying supercharged planes. It's the experience of a lifetime for aviation fans as thunderous roars tear through the dry desert air.
Wow, that's fast.
But when the galloping ghost leaves formation, excitement becomes panic in an instant.
Oh, hey.
In just 9 seconds, it becomes the deadliest airshow disaster in modern U.S. history. Was it the aircraft? Were there any warning signs? Or was the horror that unfolded unavoidable? The answers to those questions would change racing forever.
Holy shit!
Tucked away in the Nevada desert, the Reno air races are a throwback to the early days of flight. Over its 8-mile circuit, pilots are free to put the hammer down and battle each other wing to wing. They also fly at a low altitude, a unique thrill that attracts thousands of fans each year. If the sport of air racing is dangerous by default, then Reno's Unlimited class takes it to the extreme. It allows pilots to fly experimental propeller planes with few restrictions on what can be changed. It has a category designed for raw power and speed. Only one group of aircraft is up to the task. Painted in vibrant colors and with flamboyant names, World War II fighters make up the bulk of entrants.
I'm sorry. Kevin Root, welcome to the chat. But he comes through the gate. You know what? You should try cave diving. Really? That sounds fucking horrifying.
The roar from the engines of these beloved aircraft is a highlight of the show, as are the legends who fly them. Jimmy Leeward is one such legend. He's a Hollywood stunt pilot and experienced aviator who started flying in middle school, and his career proved crucial to understand how the Reno disaster could happen. On top of piloting hundreds of planes, he also served as a board member for experimental aircraft and flew humanitarian missions throughout his life. So his experience in aviation went far beyond the cockpit. An important detail to remember: Jimmy was known for his adventurous spirit, and he owned a notorious racer known as the Galloping Ghost. It held several records at Reno and had been heavily modified over its lifespan. 4 years before the disaster, Jimmy set his sights on breaking the Unlimited class speed record. Although it was already a fast plane, it needed to achieve speeds above 500 miles per hour, and this meant extreme modifications. At the same time, the sport had an uncertain future. In the 40 years of Reno air racing, 19 pilots had died due to mechanical mishaps and mid-air collisions. The smallest error could cause a fatality, and the mainstream media questioned if the sport was worthwhile. This was on top of the fact that high costs and low public interest meant race venues were becoming few and far between. So they had a choice: make things safer, maybe less exciting, and risk the sport dying out forever, or push things to the edge and see if they could win some new fans. To achieve record-breaking speeds, Jimmy made massive changes to Galloping Ghost's design. This included shortening the wings, streamlining the plane's body, and altering...
Okay, here's a problem. Already, that I see. He might be a pilot, like a very good pilot. He might be one of the best pilots on the planet, but he's not an engineer. His knowledge of what a plane needs to fly is going to be very limited, and especially when it comes to these kinds of modifications, it's not gonna... Yeah, this could end up very bad.
its center of gravity.
You know what? This is reminded me of the Seagate guy, the submarine dude.
Jimmy also removed what he considered non-essential items to reduce weight and modified a crucial component. Known as trim tabs, they're like the power steering and cruise control of a plane. At high speed, these stabilizer flaps are critical to fly safely, and Jimmy set the right-hand trim tab at a fixed angle. Although the plane was now faster, the changes made it more unstable and difficult to control, and Jimmy had to manually compensate for the loss of the movable trim tab at all times. It also had completely different handling characteristics than he was used to, on account of its new aerodynamic profile. But there was a much bigger problem that Jimmy failed to recognize. He wasn't an engineer. As far as records tell, the modifications were made using Jimmy's intuitive calculations rather than technical simulations.
Oh, Jesus
If Jimmy had an engineering background, he would have known that the plane now had imbalanced aerodynamics, and its controls were too sensitive at high speed. The Galloping Ghost was also pushed too close to its performance limits and risked catastrophic loss of control or structural failure. As if to make a bad situation worse, Jimmy then tuned the engine to produce an extreme output, which required a new cooling system. This further altered the plane's balance and significantly increased stress on the plane's airframe. When the work was completed, experts reckoned the Galloping Ghost was the most modified P-51 Mustang in the world. If either the FAA or engineers assessed the plane, the issues in its design would have been noticed. However, neither of these things happened because Jimmy didn't get the plane inspected, nor were any of the modifications.
Oh my god, it is. It's literally the Seagate shit all over again. Or like before Seagate. Like this guy wants to be... Oh my god, are you kidding? What is up with people thinking that safety inspections are like, oh, no, I don't need that. Yes, you do. Oh my god, Jesus
documented.
Christ.
Jimmy's modifications weren't the only problem. There was also the comedy of errors that allowed him to fly his dangerous plane in the first place. When Jimmy entered the Galloping Ghost in the 2009 Reno Air Races, he told organizers it had major structural changes. But because the plane didn't compete, no one inspected it. When Jimmy tried to race again in 2010, there was a misunderstanding with his application. He only mentioned the plane had a new cooling system, thinking they knew about the major modifications from the previous year. However, race organizers didn't keep good records, and they had no idea the plane wasn't inspected or that it was heavily modified. And since the new cooling system was a minor change, they skipped the inspection in 2010 too. The second error happened because when Jimmy missed the qualifiers, he shouldn't have been allowed to fly. But they let him through on a loophole based on his previous performance on the track. And the mistakes didn't end there. Jimmy only reported the new coolant system to the FAA, and this alone is a federal offense. He could have lost his license or even been in prison for fraud. Yet Jimmy got away with it because the FAA didn't inspect the plane when they should have. He broke other regulations too. According to his airworthiness certificate, Jimmy was supposed to keep Galloping Ghost in Florida. Instead, Jimmy ignored the instruction and moved it to 2 states, conducting illegal flight tests in a third. And even these attempts to test the plane should have landed Jimmy in more trouble. From his flight log, Jimmy completed less than half the required hours to ensure the safety of the plane. And none of these tests were done at race speeds. Yet he told race organizers he'd completed far more hours in his entry forms to competitions. In a final showing of negligence, he was able to submit a younger age on his entry forms, a basic error that wasn't picked up by organizers, and showed how unreliable the approach to detail was, all round. So here we have an experimental aircraft pushed to the boundaries of its performance, and an engineer hadn't so much as glanced at the plane. How could anything possibly go wrong? Fortunately, in that year at least, nothing did go wrong. Strong winds stopped the races early, so the plane didn't have a chance to fly. Jimmy was naturally disappointed, thinking bad weather robbed him of the speed record. In reality, it merely delayed the consequences of his recklessness until the following year. When the Reno Championship started in September of 2011, it was Jimmy's third attempt to race the Galloping Ghost. Despite his confidence in the modifications, he couldn't shake the nerves about encountering more mechanical problems. To his relief, the plane was in explosive form, and Jimmy treated fans to one of the fastest average qualifying speeds. He even exceeded 500 miles per hour, which made him odds-on favorite to beat the speed record and the spotlight of that year's show. But as he participated in more race sessions, problems began to surface. Although the Ghost was always one of the fastest planes, it now had handling issues that worsened at high speed. Jimmy noticed the trim tabs, or stabilizer flaps on its tail, had too much free play, so he asked his mechanic to inspect the aircraft. They only checked one of the tabs and tightened loose screws without investigating the cause. Jimmy was ignorant of the risks and looked forward to breaking the speed record in the following days. After a strong performance,
asked for his people to. Well, I mean, obviously he hired incompetent people, but Jesus,
Jimmy
my God.
makes it to the Gold Heat on 16 September 2011. Thousands of spectators line the grandstand next to the track, wondering who will qualify for the final race later in the day. In a flurry of smoke and spitting flame, the unlimited class start their engines. As they climb into the dull and cloudy sky, Jimmy heads to the back of the field. To the delight of crowds, he plans to unleash superior speed and overtake competitors. Halfway through the race, Jimmy is third and fighting for position with a plane called Voodoo. Data shows he reached speeds up to 512 miles per hour in the race, the fastest the plane's flown. But the extreme stress takes a toll on the aircraft's frame. And as Jimmy rounds corners in pursuit of the lead, the screws they tightened earlier are close to the breaking point, putting stress on the plane's structure. Pictures show large warps and contortions in the plane's body, and a section of skin that separates from the windscreen.
Oh my God.
The plane is on the cusp of a mid-air disintegration, and neither Jimmy nor his ground crew has any idea. As Jimmy rounds the 8th pylon, he lines up to pass Voodoo on the home straight. When he crosses into its aerodynamic wake, fans hear a strange gurgling noise from above. The poorly planned modifications have finally met their match.
Wake is probably
In the turbulent air of the other plane, Galloping Ghost rolls sharply to the left. Jimmy tries desperately to control the movement, but nothing he does makes a difference. With screws that barely hold it in place, the left-hand trim tab vibrates violently. In less than a second, the tab breaks off from its control mechanisms, causing it to rotate far beyond its normal limits. This sends the Galloping Ghost into a steep climb, and Jimmy experiences 17 Gs, nearly twice as severe as a fighter pilot.
He's done. He can't be conscious.
The change of direction is so violent that Jimmy loses consciousness, and the loose trim tab breaks off shortly after. With the plane flying at full throttle, the missing tab causes it to fly upside down. It completes a loop in the air that alters its course and sends the plane toward the crowds. Seconds later, it dives aggressively and collides into a VIP seating box.
Oh my God, oh my God!
What started as a record-breaking race became a national tragedy. The Galloping Ghost struck the ground at over 500 miles per hour and disintegrated on impact. Jimmy was killed instantly, ripped apart by what was left of the plane, while its propellers, still turning, sliced through any crowd member who got in their way. The plane's destruction sent debris hurtling into the grandstands, striking nearby spectators. Others were hit by razor-sharp shards of metal, which left their families terrified at the sight of gaping wounds.
Holy shit!
While paramedics ran to aid the injured, red mist settled over the area. Eyewitnesses slowly realized the extent of the devastation unfolding in front of them. But as horrifying as the aftermath of the impact was, its brutality actually saved lives. Because Jimmy had crashed at such a steep angle, the ground absorbed most of the energy. The plane also didn't skid along the surface, which would have caused many more casualties.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's a small consolation to families of the deceased and spectators who received life-changing injuries. Over 60 people were struck by debris, with some of the worst injuries requiring amputation. While emergency services tended to survivors, everyone else wondered why the plane lost control so quickly. In an extraordinary coincidence, the perfect people to answer that question were sitting in the crowd. NTSB investigators were present at Reno, ironically, to promote safety in the industry. It was potentially the only time in the Bureau's history that staff were first-hand witnesses to an accident. They immediately examined the wreckage of the crash, looking for anything that explained the loss of control. But most of the plane was unrecognizable. So with the help of photos and videos taken by fans, they realized that a trim tab had fallen off, and this alerted them to the other signs of structural weakness. The tab was found by the circuit's 9th pylon, along with parts that secured it to the plane, and this is when investigators made an astonishing discovery. Jimmy spent thousands of dollars rebuilding and modifying the Galloping Ghost, but the lock nuts that held the trim tab in place couldn't grip screws at all. They were found with yellow paint on them, even though the plane was painted silver. After researching the plane's history, they realized the last time the plane raced in yellow was in 1985, so the lock nuts hadn't been changed in 26 years. Well past their typical life cycle of a few years at most. It was a shocking revelation that typified Jimmy's work on the aircraft. And the more the investigators learned about the plane, the more questions were raised about its design. They quickly realized that none of the modifications were documented. But Jimmy's race mechanics had no clue what they did either. So investigators had to rely on comparing images of the plane with its original blueprints. After several weeks of studying, they finally had a good idea of what went wrong. Although the loss of the trim tab threw the plane out of control, it was only one of many factors that contributed to the crash. These included poor maintenance and a cocktail of design flaws that disrupted aerodynamics. Investigators also added that Jimmy could have avoided the accident by consulting an engineer and replacing the lock nuts. If Jimmy hadn't tampered with the right stabilizer, the plane wouldn't have climbed so steeply or turned so sharply. This would have reduced the strain on the left trim tab, preventing it from breaking off. In this scenario, the controls wouldn't have pulled up so violently, and Jimmy wouldn't have lost consciousness, meaning the disaster could have been avoided. The reality is, Jimmy made modifications he wasn't qualified to make, and 11 people lost their lives, with 69 injured as a result. The news of another death at Reno raised questions about air racing safety. Some argued it shouldn't continue, but even the injured fans of Reno felt differently. Many eventually returned to watch air races, and in 2025, the championship found a new home in Roswell, New Mexico. After its investigation, the NTSB made several recommendations to prevent a future disaster. These included moving crowds away from the racetracks and mandatory pre-race inspections of unlimited class planes. They also noted the incident could have been much worse. A fuel truck was parked near the crash site, which could have exploded if it was struck by debris. In this scenario, the barriers around the VIP seating areas would have torn through the crowds, causing hundreds of injuries. The FAA clarified its rules about crowd separation. Race organizers have tighter rules before pilots can compete, and plane owners must submit documents proving their safety. The United States has one of the best safety track records in aviation. Fortunately, Reno is the last time fans were killed watching a race in the skies. Watch this episode next. If you found this video interesting, please add a like and leave a comment if you want to support the channel.
Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, Dark Records, it's not bad. I would like and subscribe to them. That was put together pretty well. Okay, we have one more video here. It's 17 minutes long, so just long enough, but this is by Kentucky Ballistics, and it is called Could You Defeat a Vampire? I feel targeted. I don't know why. But we're gonna go ahead and watch it.
Nice try, buddy. But I'm not scared of anything. You know, I really expected better from you. If I was a Texan, maybe this would be scary. What's up, everybody? My name is Scott, and you're watching Kentucky Ballistics, and today we have a very special Halloween episode. One of the most notorious creatures of Halloween is the vampire. And today I am going to show you how to defeat a vampire. These things are an absolute menace. They come out every year, and I feel like you need to be better prepared. This guy here is looking pretty ferocious. If you look right here, you can see he has some very big, sharp fangs. He's dressed for the occasion and he looks thirsty. You may think that you can just take out one of these vampires with your Glock 19 or Grandpappy's shotgun, but that's not the case. It takes a very specific set of weaponry to take out one of these vampires. You know what's even more terrifying than vampires? Spammers, robocallers, and telemarketers. But you know who can help you with that? Today's sponsor, Aura. Anyone can find anything on the internet, including your personal information.
Hold on.
I mean, even
How
this
long
guy
ago
can
was
find
this?
it. Aura will identify data brokers exposing your information and automatically submit opt-out requests on your behalf.
He might still be getting money for this, so
junk mail and telemarketing
we're gonna go ahead and let it go.
If you use my link, Aura.com/Kentucky, you can start a free 2-week trial and see how many data brokers are exposing your information on the web. You can also find this link in the description down below, or you can scan my QR code. Aura also does so much more to protect you and your family from online threats you can't see. It's really easy to set up so you don't have to download several different apps to get things like parental controls, antivirus, VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, and more. You get everything at one affordable price. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online so you can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. Stop letting people exploit and profit off of your private information. Swing over to Aura.com/Kentucky and start your free 2-week trial today. You can also find this link in the description down below, or you can scan my QR code. Again, a big thank you to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's go slay this vampire.
We're fine.
You may notice it's a little bit darker today than we normally film, and that's on purpose. Vampires are actually very sensitive to sunlight. So I didn't want this guy to just get fried before we filmed, so we came out here a little bit later today. When it comes to battling a vampire, you may want to weaken his defenses first. One thing they definitely do not like is holy water. So here I have an electric squirt gun filled with normal water, but hypothetically, you could fill it with holy water. Let's see how effective our electric squirt gun would be. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt.
Oh, that's pretty good. Look at that, man. He would not like that. Ah. Look, he's melting. You see he's melting? That's not the water. So it seems like an electric squirt gun full of holy water would be a very good deterrent for a vampire. But let's say you don't have any holy water and you don't have a squirt gun. Well, maybe you can get a hold of some garlic powder, 410 shotgun rounds. And that's what I have right here.
Garlic doesn't hurt us. It's a meth.
Hate garlic. It being in powdered form
Nope, we love
would be highly effective. It'd get all up in his nose and his eyes, and you can at least
it's fine,
get away.
It's fine.
All right, let's
what
see
are
how
you
he
planning on
likes this.
doing, though? Hey, don't, hey. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, that's still gonna hurt a lot. That's gonna hurt a lot.
Yes, that looked pretty good. As you can see here,
That's...
the garlic powder is all in his eyeballs, up his nose, just like I wanted it to be. So this may not actually kill the vampire, but I can at least get away from him.
It'd be
and
very
I want to get
annoying.
far away because he's going to be really mad. That was a close one. Totally just saved your life. If you want to repay me, you can do so by hitting that subscribe button.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
So up to this point, I have shown you some really good deterrents for vampires, but there's only one real way to take out a vampire, and that's a wooden stake. Today I have several different sizes of wooden stakes. We're going to start with the smallest and work our way up to the biggest. The first wooden stakes I have are some 10-gauge wooden stake slugs. Let's see how good or bad these would be at taking out a vampire.
That's probably going to be effective. That's probably going to hurt.
Here we go. Oh! Oh!
Ow, you fucking dick! Oh, Jesus, the ballistic Jawas freaking flying open and shit.
Those look like they did quite a bit of damage to the vampire, but I don't know if that would have been enough. Let's go check it out. Ah! My earplug? Ah! You guys don't think I wear ear protection. I do. It's just so deep in there that you can't see it. Okay, we hit right here and right here. We broke up his ribs pretty good, but
ow, hey, ow!
I don't know if that would have been enough. I mean, vampires can heal pretty quick, and this was not really a vital area of the vampire. And even if it was, I don't know if that would have been enough, but that's okay because I brought bigger
it wouldn't be.
The 10-gauge wooden stake shotgun slugs did quite a number to that vampire, but we definitely need something bigger.
Oh, okay.
So up next, I have my double barrel
what are you gonna use?
8-gauge Doomslayer shotgun, and I have some 8-gauge wooden stake slugs. Okie dokie.
Oh, shit.
Let's see how this goes. Let's hear 1, 2, 3. Oh! We blew his whole freaking tape off.
Oh, Jesus fucking goddamn. All right, I think... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, we're dead.
All right, tell you what. Let's get a little
fucking
closer
dead.
For this next one. Here we go.
Oh, no. Don't. Not again. Oh. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is... Oh,
you know what's bad? When you blow his cape off. Oh, golly. Okay. I'm not really sure what it did, but if you come from this angle right here, it's all up in his neck. That is so bad.
Yeah.
Look at these wood splinters and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty
all the way
bad.
through him. Look at that. Holy cow. Sticking out of his back. Oh. Okay, well. Oh, gosh, he's missing all of his rib cage. If you had a vampire problem and you called the Doomslayer, I'm pretty sure he would be able to take out your vampire with his 8-gauge stake slugs. That was pretty brutal. Oh my gosh! He's called for backup! 8-gauge stake slugs. 100% I think would take out a vampire. But what if you encounter a real beefy vampire who really eats a lot of food and goes to the gym? Maybe you
that's
need
a Skyrim
bigger
vampire
stake.
lord.
You may need something
What?
really big
No, hey, that's
to make
not
it to
fair.
that
Oh my
vampire's
God.
heart. And I
Oh my
think
fucking...
this would do it. This is my harpoon gun fitted with a custom vampire stake harpoon. I
What
am
is wrong
very
with
excited to see if this works. Don't think the vampire is, though. I mean, look at his face. He looks so angry. He's just scowling at me. Okay, we're going to go right for the heart.
Don't,
Here we
please.
go.
Oh my God.
Oh!
Well, that wouldn't kill us.
I did hit him with the heart, but oh my gosh. I'm going to have to do it again, obviously, but good Lord. Look at this. It blew all the way through his shoulder.
That's pretty bad.
Sure, we. Yep. think that'll do it. I'm just gonna need to aim a little lower. We need to hit him more in this area. All right, let's try round 2. Here we go. Oh!
Oh, again, like, probably painful, but
I
not
would
deadly.
say that's pretty close to where his heart would be. And by golly, that's in there pretty good. Oh. Well, it didn't go as deep. I think that's because we hit some of his vampire bones. I was aiming down here and we're hitting here. I need to hit here. I think this will probably do it. Oh!
But we're dead now, yeah. But there it is. Yeah, that's a heart shot.
Oh, yep. I think that would do it. Oh, he doesn't shoot it up. So now we know that a big giant wooden stake or an 8-gauge stake slug will definitely make it to the heart of a vampire.
It will, but why would you?
I mean, what would happen if you aimed a little higher? Alrighty then, I have a fresh wooden harpoon stake.
Oh,
Let's see what happens. 3 stakes. Oh!
Oh my god. Bro, what is wrong with
he's
you?
finally bleeding. It's like a purple blood. I think we had a stake malfunction, and that's okay for a day like today, because this is just practice. But if we were actually battling a vampire, that could have really cost us. And that is why you always bring a backup stake when going on a vampire hunt.
Yes, another one.
Oh, gosh!
Damn it. Oh, Jesus, that's bloody as hell. Oh, done. Absolutely done. That's some Walking Dead shit right there. Look at that.
Dragula is, not feeling too well right now. I don't care what you say. You gotta send a stake through the heart region. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that would have done it.
I bet he took a selfie.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely a keeper. R.I.P. Mr. Vampire, and R.I.P. the Chip-O-Matic 5000. I miss it so much, and I wish it was here today, but it's not. If you miss the Chip-O-Matic 5000 just as much as I do, you need to check out these limited edition R.I.P. Chip-O-Matic 5000 shirts. The profits from these shirts are going to go to investing in a bigger, better Chip-O-Matic. They're only available for a limited time, so if you want to check them out, there's a link in the description down below. Okay, I have 2 8-gauge stake slugs left. Let's see what would happen if we gave Mr. Vampire both barrels. 1 hammer.
Oh no! Why does he have more?
Pulled. Here we go. Oh!
Oh Jesus! Dude, that's fucking. We're done. What cups? Oh my god!
Golly! Yeah. That looked like that messed him up pretty good. Oh. We got anything coming out the back? We do not. We have tested out all of our vampire weaponry, and it turns out the majority of it is pretty effective. But what if you don't have access to vampire weaponry, and all you got is a 12-gauge shotgun loaded with some birdshot? Probably not going to be super effective at taking out the vampire, but let's see what kind of damage you could do.
Okay, he's just being rude now.
Oh!
Oh, come on. Oh, he blew up our head.
I'm going to give the vampire the benefit of the doubt here. He has already been pretty wounded with all of my vampire weaponry. But it does appear... Oh, gosh.
My cat is watching your stream.
Okay. Starting to get pretty dark. I've actually never been out here this late, and I'm kind of afraid that if I wait much longer, more of these guys are going to show up. So I'm going to need to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy it, be sure and give it a like, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure and check out Kentucky Ballistics Breakdowns, Kentucky Customs. I promise I'm going to post a new video soon, and Kentucky Ballistic Shorts. Links to those...
No, you're not. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to react to content with me for the last couple hours. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as hard as you possibly can. And we will see you all on the next one. And now, the nations of the world who hate Johnny, presented by Eva. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica.
You got anyone you want to call out in the heavyweight division? Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker? I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house. Or in the ring? No, in real life. I'm going to stalk him and become obsessed with him and wear his makeup and his dresses and use his skin as a coat like the ancient Irish did. Well, that's your winner, Sam